Is it audible? Hello, is it audible, viewers? Just type a yes. Hello, hi Anish. Hi, thank you for your response. All right, so hello Ashutosh, good evening to you as well. Good to have you. I hope you have been watching these Gazette videos every day, because we update you with the current affairs of the date itself. Yes, the editorials are from the same day, and yes, I did get a new haircut. Thanks, Anish. Looks like you have been following me. So, yes. Now we are about to begin the Gazette discussion for today. Before that, all I would like you to understand is that every day, understanding current affairs, looking at newspapers, or going through what we have, something like this type of product is very unique in the market, where we assimilate, where we organize for you not only the articles which can directly answer to the mains exam question, but we also update you with important happenings, especially which are important for UPSC exam, especially which are important for all the state exams, because these are the places from where you can put the examples. Not only that, we also have case study. So case study has got great utility. You can use them as cases in answer writing. So when you write a 2-page answer, in blocks you can mention that small case, and that you have to carefully do. So that smart strategy you have to use. However, all the material we are providing, right? So terms and concepts, important for the pre-exam, important for the mains exam also. Similarly, editorials, they give you a wider opinion on the article, what the think tank, what the important people think about that particular issue. So this is why I recommend you that you spend say 1.5 hours every day evening. Don't study in the morning those newspapers, because story, looking at the whole story, and then it takes a lot of time. Just spend 1.5 hours. I am talking of 5:20 to 6:45, just that much. In that much time we will cover one theme every day for 365 days. So apart from Saturday, Sunday, I am talking of more than 250 themes and around 13 to 14 articles from Gazette magazine, updated magazines, UPSC related. So you can, the choice is yours. The only point I am making here is if you do this regularly, your knowledge, the power that you will acquire through knowledge, that will be incomparable, and that will serve the purpose of getting through the exam. So let us begin this discussion. So welcome to Edukemy's YouTube channel. My name is Harsh Singh, and I am here live with you, and I will be presenting you the Gazette magazine for 27th September 2021, your daily guide to UPSC current affairs. So the hot selling articles in the market today. The Prime Minister had gone to USA, and he had definitely concluded some of the pacts. So Quad principles on technology, design and development and governance. This is one. And the second one is Quad fellowship program, also in news. So these are the two important updates from USA when Prime Minister had gone. We'll understand what they are. And the third one is RBI document on loan exposure and securitization. So we will understand what these two things are. And after that, so these are the snapshot updates. This day in history, because today is the World Tourism Day, we will understand what this day is about, and also in relevance to India. Featured news for today, which will be telecast live to you at 6:30 p.m. is on sustainable food systems. There was a United Nations Food Summit, and it concluded very important things, specifically about food wastage, specifically about food contribution in contributing to greenhouse gases, and about nutrition element of food. And therefore we will understand what this report was about, what are the important recommendations, what is happening world around at 6:30 p.m. live. A complete article in itself. Image of the day is on flying microchip. We will understand its utility and what is its size. Terms and concepts. The 4 terms that we discussed today are flexi fuel engines. So what is flexi fuels? We'll understand. The second one is monoclonal antibodies, The third one being new simulator policy of the defense of India. And the fourth one, what is the reason that Brazil is the country that speaks first in United Nations General Assembly? We'll know that. Terms and concepts. Editorials, the three of them, short ones, yet important perspective giving editorials for today. The first one is on tourism sector, India and its potential in tourism industry. Why? Specifically because 27th of September is World Tourism Day. The second one is the issues that are related with bad bank. So some criticism about bad bank here, right? And the third one is flood management, especially in relation to Bihar and Nepal. This is the editorial section. And case study for today is on a folk artist from West Bengal. We will understand what kind of wonders is this folk artist creating. So let's start the discussion. Now, the snapshot section, which is about the updated articles from today itself. It is about Prime Minister going to USA and conducting some important meetings regarding Quad. So more understandings for Quad were required in context of the formation of AUKUS. If you have been watching our Gazette videos, you will understand that we distinguish between what is Quad and what is this new AUKUS that is formed. AUKUS is a security platform, security dialogue between three countries, Australia being the spearheader and UK and USA. But Quad is a partnership which is at multiple levels. It is not only for freedom of navigation, it is also for security, it is for exchange of cooperation, data, information, it is also for exchange of technology, climate change. So multiple things are discussed in Quad, and therefore this meeting clarified that same thing, whether Quad was significant or not. So look at this kind of principle that was established between these four countries. They were on technology, design, development, governance and use. We have discussed this about BRICS also. BRICS nation keep on sharing data about governance platforms. They discuss data about the space satellites. They discuss data on COVID developments. Similarly, Quad is also doing the same. And who is it beneficial to? The four countries in Quad are USA, then we have Japan, and then we have India. And tell me which is the fourth country. I would like you to write that down in the comment section. So these four countries, India is at one of the most advantageous positions because India is a developing country. India needs more technologies. India needs more assistance in terms of capacity building, best managerial skills in these sectors, design, development, technology and governance. And that is what India pacted with these countries. So yes, four countries, Australia, you might have seen that. So what have they spoken about? They have spoken about secure supply chains between Australia. Oh yes, Australia. So and this is Hanish. Okay, very good Hanish. Now, and so the first thing that they spoke about, see, all these four countries, they always boast of democracy. They boast of inclusiveness, because what are they doing actually? They are countering China. So when, you don't have to even memorize all these things. You have to understand what was the principle behind which the Quad formation happened. So it was to oppose China. China is one country which is opposed on many grounds. One of the important grounds is that it does not follow democracy, one party system in China, and that is why one important thing that value that they say is supporting universal values, inclusiveness amongst people. Yes, Mehroon, you're correct, it's Australia. Yes, very good. So universal values, so inclusivity, participation, this is what they claim. So this is something that you can put in your answers, and this is just for talking purposes where these people, the four countries, talk about it. More importantly, they are securing global supply chains. Now China supplies as much as 90% of the rare earth minerals, 90% and even more than rare earth minerals. India is another important country, but China has explored the rare earth minerals to quite an extent, and therefore through rare earth minerals it can produce a lot of high-end technology gadgets. So we are talking of satellite equipments, we are talking of the lenses for camera, we are talking of these panels, right? So semiconductor chips. So all these, most of it, the most important ingredient is created in China. Hello Sam, nice to see you again. So because of all this, and not only all this, what about API, active pharmaceutical ingredients? So minerals, these rare earth minerals and certain important ingredients found in China, they are the ones responsible for creation. And if China stops the supply to the whole world, or in any case it bottlenecks the whole process, the whole world is at mercy of China. And this is why these 4 nations this time have formed an alliance, saying that we will secure the supply chains for each other and for the world as well, in all these fields, right? So what are we talking of? Technology, we are talking of designing, development, governance, right? So this is one important thing, update from these countries. And this is a multi-stakeholder approach. Now, there is something called as intergovernmental approach. Government bodies deal, and there's something called as multi-stakeholder approach. So private bodies, NGOs, governments, and important think tanks, even individuals, they all can participate in their own capacity. So this is what is multi-stakeholder approach about, and it will be utilized here. Now advantages, the first advantage is that what is the advantage for India? Can you imagine? India is one of the laggards in this group. So the best part about India is that it will boost its capacity, and it will also contain China, absolutely true. And the most important, another important part is it will generate jobs and investment in country, right? So this is Snapshot 1, and allied with this is Snapshot 3. So Snapshot 3 talks about the Quad Fellowship Program, 100 students, 25 from each of these countries, all the 4 countries that you just noted down here, all of them will go to USA and study. What will they study on? They will study on STEM, science, technology, engineering and management. This is what high-end technology is about. In fact, I was reading one of the important articles. More than 80% students in India, when they opt for graduation or higher studies, they go for general courses, non-technical courses, more than 80%. But when they go abroad, I'm specifically speaking of USA, Canada, UK, all of Europe and Australia, these developed countries, most of them, more than 70 to 75%, they opt for technical courses. I'm talking of STEM. So the demand of STEM courses, there are 2 conclusions from it. One, the demand for STEM courses worldwide is more, and also that these are the best countries to opt for STEM courses, because in India people do not opt for these courses. Most 80% students opt for general courses, and only 20% around opt for STEM courses. So exploiting this also. Now this is a different analysis, but you can put this in your notes. Now all these 4 countries have opted that 25 students from each country will go to USA and study for this STEM course. They will also understand the culture, the viability of courses that are taught there in their own countries. So this is what is the update about it. So master and doctoral programs, this is what they will study. This is the image of Quad. All you can find, you can find all this on Edukemy's YouTube page, Google. You can find this on Edukemy's website as well. So we update the website by around 4 PM in the evening every day, and if you register on the website, you will also get this complete PDF, right? So not only the version that you are seeing, but also the PDF as well. All the images, they're all FX, just the same. This is just the way it is, right? Now, important reasons why this group, Quad, is formed: strategic sea routes, they protect it; openness in Indo-Pacific region, right? And they also talk about global contemporary issues, so climate change and coronavirus, everything, right? This is what Article 3 is also about, related ones. Now, what is Snapshot 2 about? RBI has issued a circular. This circular is on transfer of loan exposure and securitization of standard assets. Now what happens is, suppose if I'm a bank and I have given money to somebody else, so I have lent money to somebody else. This was asset for me, and I have transferred this asset. Can you tell me, if I have transferred this asset only to one place, so if this is real estate, I have transferred this at one place and this is giving good returns. Do you think this is sustainable all the time? You can put down that in comments. Is it sustainable if I transfer all my assets? If I have 100 crores in a bank, I transfer that to real estate companies and I keep on getting returns. Is it sustainable? Actually, it may not be sustainable. Why? Because there is a boom and there is a recession. There is a boom and recession. This is how the whole economy of every sector progresses. And therefore, there must be diversification of assets and liabilities, all of them, right? So this is what securitization is about. It is about rebalancing all the assets that we have in various sectors by knowing the risk weighted, the weighted risk in each sector. So the asset must be transferred in various sectors, something in real estate, something in pharmaceutical sector, something in IT industries, something in tourism, and something else in construction, something else in manufacturing, something in agriculture. So this is how you can balance all your asset and liabilities also. This will make things easier for one person to have their assets at. So this has to be done only after assessing the risk profile of each of the places where we are putting our money. So this is what RBI has released a circular on, and this is only going to make things very easy in the market of profit and loss, because losses will be curtailed in this case, and there will be some standardization, some marginalization of whatever asset an organization has. So this is what the circular is about. This is largely applicable to banking companies and some NBFCs. So this is going to be helpful. Now, an asset can be diversified into various classes only after a minimum duration. So this is what it says. Here it is mentioned, and if you download the PDF, you will be able to look at it very carefully. Now, these are the 3 snapshots we have covered today. This day in history we have dedicated to World Tourism Day, because 1970 this dedication to World Tourism Day got initiated. And why do we dedicate so much importance to tourism? Because tourism yields a lot of things for human beings, right? Our basic trait, one of the basic traits, is to be able to see the various explorations of the world, right? So such a beautiful image. At some places we have shown the Eiffel Tower, and then this is Turkey, this is Leaning Tower of Pisa, and do we have something from India? This is the London Bridge, and do we have something from India? You will tell me that by looking at the image after going to the website or downloading this. So what is the significance for a country like India in tourism sector? See, present times are really harsh for the whole world, because COVID has restricted international mobility of people. But India has got as many as 41 sites for UNESCO. UNESCO sites are 41. This includes the cultural and natural, both the sites. And this contributes to as much as 9% of our GDP and 8% jobs. I am talking of around 4 crore jobs for the country, 4 crore plus jobs. And this is why tourism becomes very important for the country. It also helps people to understand each other better. No? Movement, tourism, going to places, right? This makes people more peaceful to be able to accept the other person. That is why World Tourism Day. So whatever be the conversation between us, that is fine, but you have to note down this: 9% GDP, 8% jobs, and 4 crore employment. India. Okay. So feature news is on sustainable food systems, to be discussed at 6:30 p.m. Right, a very interesting article. And what is about food system? This was a United Nations meeting, and we'll understand what this meeting was about and what were important conclusions. Okay, image of the day is on flying microchip. Can you imagine a chip almost of the size of a small dust particle, and this is a flying microchip. It does not even have specific energy mobility instrument. That means it is not powered by any energy device. It is so light that if it is released in the air, the aerodynamics is such that it will keep flying for quite a while until it comes to the ground level. And the time it is flying, it will be able to gauge important parameters because of its presence in the air. What are we talking of? We are talking of pollution. We are talking of COVID virus. Something or the other that is in the air, it can measure while it is in the air, and that is why this chip. So this is also dubbed as the smallest microchip that has been ever, flying microchip which has ever been made, right? So this is flying microchip. Give these examples, small examples somewhere. Okay, terms and concept. Have you ever heard of flexi fuel? Just tell me in the comments. Have you heard of flexi fuels ever? All right. So what are flexi fuels? Flexi fuels are those kind of fuels, very much easily understood. We are talking of flexibility of the input of fuel. Gasoline is the normal fuel, that is petrol. And can we also put diesel in petrol engines? We cannot put diesel in petrol engines, because if we put it, the engine will get completely blocked. And therefore, what is demanded in our country right now, this is what the minister has also said. All right, Mehroon and Hanish will just discuss flex fuel engines here. So, and thanks for responding. So, what about blending of fuel? So we are talking of mixing ethanol and methanol. So if we have ethanol blending at 15% and 85% of petrol, so this is a blending. If a device can use this and if that device can also use gas, so we are talking of butane gas. If that same device engine can use these both kind of fuel, the engine becomes flexible to fuel. And this is what India is going to mandate. India will create flexible fuel engines only in the times to come, so that a vehicle engine can not only use petroleum, it can also use the hybrid fuel, it can also use fuel cell fuel, we are talking of hydrogen cell fuel, it can also use gas in isolation. That is the kind of engine that we are demanding in these times, right? So this is why it is in news, because India is going to initiate this project very soon. Okay, now it has got one more advantage, that is that suppose if we are using the ethanol blending technique, so we are also diverting the harvest there, and government is not liable anymore to pay to these farmers, because a good remuneration will be generated in case the farm output is also put in the fuel industry. So this is why very good. Next is monoclonal antibody. It was also used to cure the ex-president of USA. We are talking of Mr. Trump. Now, what is monoclonal antibody? When antibodies are generated outside our body in laboratories, in labs, these antibodies can actually help. So these are the monoclonal antibodies. How can they help? Now, there is something called as spike protein, and spike protein is the one with the help of which coronavirus enters our body, enters our skin. This antibody that is generated outside us, outside our body, monoclonal antibody, this antibody can actually cap, it can bind the spike protein of coronavirus, and therefore it will ensure that coronavirus might not even enter our body. So there are some ways in which this is going to help our immunity generation for the body, right? So this is why this is going to help the immunity boosting of our body. The third term and concept in news is news simulator policy in defense. The name itself suggests what it might mean. News simulator policy. So news simulator policy is talking about the defense sector in India. Right now what we are doing is, when we carry out exercises, we use the real guns, the real ammunition. When a T-72 tank or when a fighter plane is conducting its exercises, they are using fuel. They're also using gadgets, they're using technology resources, they're using power, everything is getting consumed. And if we have this simulator policy, everything has to be designed inside a studio. So inside a particular place, they will have a setup, a small cockpit, they will not be moving, everything will be simulated on the screen. It will be a multi-dimensional experience. It will not only be 3D, it will be multi-dimensional experience. And this is how we will be able to save on a lot of expenses for the government, right? All the countries around the world practice this, going to help India also. So it will be all weather training, whether it is raining or not, you can do it inside a studio space, right? And this is how it is going to help us save money. This is what the defense minister has declared. Now, what is the reason that, so in United Nations General Assembly, Brazil is the country which speaks first every time. What is the reason for Brazil speaking? Even when Brazil starts from B, there are a lot of countries from A, Antigua, Barbados, and then we have Australia, we have Austria, you can name a couple of countries in the chat section, but still Brazil does. The reason is very simple. Brazil took initiative some time back, right? We are talking of post-World War, when all the countries were reluctant. What will we speak? What is it about diplomacy? Is it about politics? What do we have to speak? Brazil took that initiative of speaking. And that is why, as a matter of respect, Brazil is treated with a lot of respect, and it is asked to speak as the first country. And after that, it is not followed alphabetically, and later on, the order of the countries which have to speak, that is dependent on the geography, that is also dependent on if it is what is the order of precedence. So for example, if India is getting represented by the president, he or she will be given preference. If Pakistan is being represented by their high commissioner, then that will stand lower in stance as compared to the president. So they will speak later. So these are some of the precedences United Nations has set up. Very simple, but yes, important. 3 editorials, short and quick, but relevant. So let's discuss. The first editorial is about tourism potential of our country. Do you know that? Yes, we know that. We just know that because it is contributing to less than 10% in employment, in GDP, and around 4% of 4 crore of employment of our country. So this is how you will be talking about tourism sector whenever you talk, right? When you are preparing for UPSC exam, when you are preparing for any government exam, you will have to be talking in these terms. Every every important word given to you should be related to something that you know about it, right? And keep on revising, keep on talking about it to people. This article has been written down by Minister of Tourism, and he says that around 7 years back, the Prime Minister had started a campaign called as Loha campaign. The main idea was to collect the fodder material so that the Statue of Unity that is based in Kevadia in Gujarat, it could be built. So raw material collection for that. And that he started with the Run for Unity marathon. This spot is located at Narmada River at Sardar Sarovar Dam. And earlier also there was tourism at this place, but now since the last 7 years after its construction, after its initiation of construction, this place is on world tourism map. So people from around the world, they come here to see this huge image of our ex-Home Minister Sardar Patel. Therefore, tourism has actually got a lot of potential in our country. We have got as many as 47 UNESCO sites, and these are cultural sites. These are also the natural sites, 2 sites. And I would like you to put in comments. If you're watching these Gazette videos, we updated you about the latest 2 additions to UNESCO World Heritage Sites in India. And I would like to know from you what are those 2 sites, because if I receive, if you don't know, I will be telling them towards the end of this video. Okay, so moving ahead, 41 UNESCO sites. We've got such beautiful beaches, and we also got a number of blue flag beaches. So what are blue flag beaches? These are those special beaches. They have got some accreditation by an international agency, and this is why they are called as blue flag. They need to follow some minimum parameter for there to be declared as blue flag. What are those? So minimum amount of cleanliness in the beach, minimum amount of water treatment facilities there. So no presence of polluting material, plastic. So these are the kind of things which need not be there, and India has got as many as 10 such beaches in the country. So India has a huge potential for tourism. This is what the editorial says. And main thing, how it could actually spur growth in India is by using the marginalized communities, because forest dwellers, many of those people are forest dwellers who live there. Many of the people living here are tribals, the local people, indigenous people. So these are the people who can benefit. How can they benefit? Cannot they become tourist guides to us? Yes, they can. Cannot they offer their homes to stay? Yes. So when I had gone to Ladakh, I did not stay in any hotel. I stayed in the homestays of these people, the local people, and it was mutual. I got very good understanding of their culture. I lived with them, and I could eat the local food with them, their lifestyle, and they got some money out of the whole economy. So this is what the minister is also speaking. This is what is required in our country. They become guides, they become tour operators, they start giving their homes, and this is how tourism is going to generate economy for the locals. Yes, and this is one thing. And one very good thing about tourism is that tourism does not need huge investment so that it can yield returns. So, for example, if we have industries, if we want to set up a renewable industry in India, so we will have to spend thousands and thousands of crores so that it can generate employment and then returns for the people, and also in the long term. But tourism, the research itself says that only 10 lakh rupees of investment can lead to as much as 78 jobs. 78 jobs. So that is the kind of potential tourism has, and it will lead to jobs in all the sectors, primary, secondary and tertiary. Tourism itself is a tertiary sector. That means service-driven sector, right? Now, Prime Minister had said in his 2019 Independence Day speech that by 2022, please visit at least 15 sites. And that is when COVID struck us. People did not move. They could not move. But now with 850 million vaccines total provided to individuals in India, 850 vaccines, there is a good chance that people can start moving out of their homes for tourism. Of course, international mobility is still restricted, but domestic mobility is not, right? So Ashutosh, yes, you're correct. Ramappa temple is one of the sites for UNESCO World Heritage. The other one is Lothal in Gujarat. And we have covered Lothal as one important term as well. Why? Because in Lothal we are going to simulate the whole setup in which Lothal existed those times. And we have covered this in one of the terms or images a month back. So Lothal will be very important from the perspective of culture and history. Tourism as a smokeless industry, good for environment. Yes, absolutely, Ashutosh, you're correct. So about Lothal, Lothal is one of the places which was very rich in culture, heritage, trade along Gujarat coast. and it was along a river, and after that only it flowed through Gulf of Khambat, and then after that for trading routes. So we have covered this all. If you search Lothal Edukemy on Google, you will find that. If you are ready to create a complete museum, a natural museum simulating those ancient times, this is one, and second one is Ramappa Temple. I would like to know that from you. Okay, the second editorial is about flood management. Now we are specifically talking of the eastern state of Bihar, right? Flood is a very repetitive phenomena for Bihar, for Assam, for Mumbai. Yeah, we see that every year, right? All these places flood. Some at Mumbai we see those buildings collapsing. In Assam we see the rhinos, they are getting submerged. In Bihar we see people dying. This is a year-long phenomena. This is a yearly phenomena for all these three places. The issue here is this time, that is why flood management has become a little slow with both these places. Now why does Nepal affect us so much with respect to flood, especially Bihar? Any answers? You can type that. Yes, Mehrul, Saurav, Bihar, Kosi. So also has to coordinate with Nepal government. Now Bihar and Nepal, so Nepal we have these mountains, this is melting all the time. Not only that, because of increased amount of erratic rainfalls, we also have increased flow of water along the rivers. So two reasons: climate change, amount of flood in the waters of these rivers, and because of this, who is at the brunt? The people living in plain areas. Now what Bihar is trying to do, what India is trying to do, is help Nepal in constructing bunds along the river side, so that this river water does not overflow from Nepal region to India. But Nepal is not helping there also. This is the embankments which are in no man's land. So every country, between every country, Nepal and India, specific no man's land, over which administration of no countries is there. Both the countries probably could maintain if there is something. Now here the issue is not even giving the permission for India to maintain these structures. And project office was established. This is in Nepal. Why specifically Nepal? Because Nepal is the place from where, if the water is managed well, it will not overflow in Indian territories. The soil of Bihar will convert into a very good situation for Bihar. We are talking of Kosi, and that is the reason we also discussed in one of the terms, will be converted into hydroelectric potential. It will be converted into tourism destination. It will be converted into irrigation, because Bihar has to handle 2-3 things here. One, interaction with the central government, Nepal government. Second, having to deal with these kind of permissions from Nepal government, and this is where the editorial says that Nepal lacks prompt action. Now this is not only for Nepal. Yeah, you must translate these understandings to other places also. I am not talking of Mumbai floods, but I am talking of India has been insistent. India has been persistent with China to provide data for the Brahmaputra river flow. So China has been maintaining complete data of Brahmaputra, and every time in the rainy season, Brahmaputra floods in India. Why? Because China keeps only that amount of water in its reservoir as much as required for its HEP generation throughout the year. But it releases rest of it. Cannot China give this important data to us so that flooding in Assam is avoided? Yes, it can be. India has been requesting for this data for years. This is what India is doing with China, Nepal as well. Issue with the other one. Relate them. Mumbai floods are not about this. This is not about overflooding of rivers. That is flooding because of construction management. That is because of planning of the places, cloud burst at places. It is also because of flash floods at some places. Also because it is completely a concrete jungle. So a separate issue. The third is on bad banks. What is a bad bank? So bad bank is the asset reconstruction company. Now this is actually not a bad bank. It is a good bank. What India has done here, India has formulated a system in which if bank is giving loans, asset for the bank or liability for the bank? Tell me that. Bank is giving loan, is it an asset or a liability for the bank? Just write that down in comments. So it is actually an asset for the bank. It is an asset because it is bank's property. But this property will get converted to a liability for the bank if the loan that it has given is not given back to it, and therefore it will not perform anymore because that loan cannot be given a stable asset. So this non-profitable asset, this is not yielding any results for the bank. In fact, if you look at the profit and loss accounts or the yes, correct Ashutosh, all Lingraj asset, Maroon correct, and Ashutosh correct. It is an asset for the bank. but it turns into non-profiting as not profitable asset if it cannot be used again, right? That's yield interest to us. Not only that, it will not be an asset anymore. So loans from these banks, they will not be doing that. People who want to give credit to the bank, give money to the bank, they will also not be doing, because they will see that this bank already is suffering so much. So what government has done is that government has planned to transfer all these non-profiting assets to bad bank. So bad bank is a set of two companies. We are talking of National Asset Reconstruction Company and Indian Debt Resolution Company, right? So first company is the one where all this NPA will be transferred, and second company is the one which will later ensure that this is sold again in the market. This whatever non-profiting asset, how will it be sold? It will be very easily sold, because when bank give loans, they take some security from the other person. So they will be mortgaging of their home, mortgaging of real estate, they would have put gold. So all this have to be monetized again. That means it has to be sold again. Bank does not have that primary job of selling it, that is true. Who will do it? So these companies will be doing it. Now, when they take this asset from the bank, what will they give the bank? They will give some amount of money. So some agreed upon amount has been agreed upon. 15% they will pay in cash to the bank. This will not be the complete amount. This will be an agreed amount. And 85% in terms of security. Security means a collateral, right? So this is what is the agreement. Now, the article talks about the issues with this agreement. What are the issues? It says that first of all, you started this whole philosophy kind of non-performing asset, correct? But is it giving some credit to the bank? It will continue giving these kind of loans. The National Asset Reconstruction Company, it has got no expertise. Only banks have got the expertise right now to take back the money that it had earlier. So these are the contentions. Then it says that the government right now has said that in case these 85% of the loan that these asset companies had to pay back can be utilized, 30,000 crore rupees. Utilized to give back to the banks, but you have given this only right now. This is a contingent. Contingent means only for emergency times, but it will actually become a liability for all the times to come if the government keeps doing this. So this is no incentive for constructing the bad bank in India right now. This is what the editorial says. It only says that right now we are only camouflaging the reality. That means we are trying to hide the reality somewhere else. We are trying to show that banks are in good books. That's all. But a man from West Bengal, you would be very, very proud to know that Indians can do this also. So this man who has studied only up to 8th class, he started playing his organ. So he's a tribal person from West Bengal, and he started playing his a music organ and contributing back to the world. So he started using some services of the small children and helping them in plantation of trees again, because he felt that tree plantation was essential. So this is one thing he did. Later, because this activity gained spur, he gained confidence amongst people. People said there are a couple of few children in our villages and they are orphans. You are living alone. Can you adopt them? He adopted them, and as many as 30 children. He has got 30 children in his NGO, and now he has adopted them all. And he is teaching them not only forestry, he is also teaching them again to the fields. So, and not only this, he is now helping the destitute females also. In some of the tribal communities, the females who have lost their husband, so some of the communities, they may have had some practice in the past. So to make their living successful, he also had them in the organization. Foundation, this is a Santhal man, Narendra Hansda, right? People who will win the awards for our country. We are talking of Padma Awards, right, to begin with. So this is where we come to the conclusion of the Gazette discussion. On the important keywords, those case studies, those editorial things that you feel could be utilized for yourself in the exam and in discussions. Note them down, and in just 15 minutes we'll meet again for a quick discussion. Dates for the live transmission at 5:30 Monday to Friday. Thanks for watching.